Hey man, look, I bought my partner some flowers. I bought my partner some flowers. Let me tell y'all why. For one, I love him dearly. He's a good dude. He's a great dude. And the second reason I bought him flowers, I can remember I was going through a rough time. Smoking drugs, snorting drugs, all that. One day, Johnny hit me up. He said, "Hey, man, what you got going on?" And I texted him back, and I was serious. I said, "Man, none slipping back into my old way. Because I'll be clean for a minute, high for a minute, clean for a minute." And he texted me back and said, "Nah, bro, you too good for that." But I kept on doing what I was doing. But when I got well, that conversation always played back to me. So when I seen him lose his mama and I see him post about his mama and the hurt that he have all the time, it does something to me. But there's nothing I can do. I can't relate. I still got my mama. But when I see it, just made me hug her a little tighter. So I just wanted to give a king his flowers while he can still smell them and just let him know that I love him from the bottom of my heart. So what I did, I booked the appointment, not for the haircut. It's just maybe so you can take yourself out to eat or something like that, man. Just take the load off for it. And I wanted you to know that I'm proud of you, the way that you continue to push and persevere through it all, the way that you're a big brother, the way that you raise your children, and that you're just a stand-up guy. And man, I love you, bro, and I'm not ashamed to say that, and I want you to know that, man. I already know it, bro. I already know it. I already know it. But it's all love. I just see you. Okay. Yeah, I just see you that just people say you take yourself out to eat or something like that. Yeah, much love to you. I'm proud of you. Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the Jaybe show on Revolutionary Blackout Network. I am your host, James Fauntleroy. So good to see all of you here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It is June 29th, 2025. So glad to have all of you here joining me today. I just wanted to start off with something bright and something very hopeful and very lovely and wholesome. So thank you so very much for watching that with me along as well. So if you guys have not already, just let you guys know, this is also going to be a stream where we have just one segment today. I'm not doing a full segment because today's my birthday, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just do one. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But if you guys have not already, go ahead and give a like to the stream. This helps us out to be able to reach more people. So thank you so very much for that. Also, if you have not, have you considered sharing and subscribing? Go ahead and do that as well. If you haven't already, we appreciate it very much. Also, you can join our mailing list at revolutionaryblackout.substack.com. It gives you email notifications where we go live like this, or we have any clips uploaded as well. So you guys have that there too. And if you guys would like to get in contact with us, you guys can contact us at revolutionaryblackout@outlook.com for any encouraging words, any news stories, or what have you. So thank you so very much for all of that. Guys, so good to see all of you here. Yes, it's official. I am a year older, and now I am, more grays are coming. So it's so good to see all of you guys in the chat so far. Let's get into some of the comments in the chat just to say our hellos and our salutations, and then we will get into the show. So good to see everybody in here. All right. So we have Facts Not Feelings says, here's a secret. Cuba offers scholarships for Black students studying medicine. Blacks can go to Cuba and study and become doctors. Shh, don't tell anyone. You know, that's one thing. If I have somebody in my family that does want to be a physician, there's a part of me that's thinking about like, hey, you know, Havana, you can get an education there. And they're doing some awesome things over there. I'm just saying that's a great idea. You know, they shouldn't have to go abroad, but there's an avenue. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So shout out to Tabitha Castro for becoming a channel member. Clap it up for Tabitha Castro. Thank you so very much for becoming a member, channel member. So thank you so very much. We have NBW Doughboy says, that's not surprising. They want Black people stuck at the bottom forever. Every concession we ever we had to fight for, while everybody just got it off GP. It's going to be rough, but we will overcome. Yeah, it's sad, but that's the way the system is built. And this is why it's up to us to change it. And I foresee that change coming soon. So we will change it. Thank you very much for that. We have Surin Valor says, happy Sunday, y'all. Good to see you. Kate Max says, happy birthday, my love. Thank you so very much. I hope this year is even better than the last. A million forehead kisses to you. I feel them all here on my big ass forehead. Thank you so very much. Speaking of which, I'm going to tell you something right now. My forehead has not changed. My forehead is still big. I'm going to show you. Because a lot of people are like, JB, you don't have a big forehead. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Look, we gotta say some hard truths here. And sometimes it means saying hard truths about ourselves, right? Let me show y'all something. Look at my forehead 39 years ago. This is me. Look at the size of my forehead. My forehead is gigantic. This is me at 2 years old. I should have known better. I should have known better that my forehead would not change. Thank God my mother had me as a C-section. I'll be having to apologize for the rest of my life. Anywho, yeah, forehead still there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, so forehead still there. All right. I got a forehead like Rihanna. Damn. Crazy Kate says, happy birthday. Good to see you. Crazy Cat. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Kate, but thank you, Cat. Appreciate it. Nocturnal Human says, hi. Good to see you, Nocturnal Human. Charlie says, happy birthday, JB. Thank you very much. Much love, brother. Much love to you as well. We have Sean coming in saying, happy birthday, Bean. Thank you so very much. You know what? It's kind of interesting. It sounds kind of similar, but one of my mom's closest friends from back in the day, we called her Aunt Wanda. And she had a nickname for me. She used to call me Moonbeam. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, we have Roger coming in saying, have your birthday present in the rock. Uh-oh. I wonder what it is. All right. Thank you very much for that. Sean Rucker says, not sure if you saw the Lindsey Graham story, but it was bound to come up. Look, I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to have that ready for Tuesday. Because, look, let me tell you something. I think I've seen a little bit about it, but I haven't actually read the story. But come on now. Is anybody surprised? Lindsey Graham, how you doing? How you doing? Or who you doing is the question. Anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy right now. Yes. Jace coming in saying happy birthday, JB. Thank you so very much. Truth Sensei is giving birthday wishes and love. Thank you so very much. All right. We have Natalie coming in saying good morning, sunshines. And thank you very much for the birthday wishes as well. Let's go to the Rock fan because Roger is like, I got a present for you. I'm like, uh-oh, is it going to be something deeply intellectual? Most likely. Am I going to learn something? Probably. So we got it already starting off with the Roger. You didn't get me some snow bunny stripper, did you? Oh Lord. Anywho, let's just shut up. Shut up, JB. All right, thank you, Dave. Versus, remember, also another challenge for Black people who want to be doctors in these is that the medical system and standards themselves are messed up big time, adding another vicious layer of difficulty for aspiring Black doctors. Tough stuff. And says, thank you, JB. Got to go now, but look forward to coming back a little later to check out the stream. Thank you very much. And then Roger says, here's my birthday present to you. What in the world? Uh, okay, let me see. Share the screen real quick. And no, it's not a stripper. It says, here's information regarding party affiliation registration month by month based on provided search results, general trends. Independent and third-party voter registration is growing. As of 2025, 32% of registered voters in states with reported data are unaffiliated with either Democrat or Republican parties. This represents an increase from 23% in 2000. Democrats versus Republicans as of March of 2025 in states, territories with party affiliation data. Democrat are 45.3 million registered voters, representing just over 37%. Republicans had 37.8 million registered voters, representing 30.9%. Democrats are the single largest share of registered voters in these areas. Independents unaffiliated is 33.8 million registered voters, representing 27.6%. Other political parties, approximately 5.4 million registered voters, representing 4.42%. Recent developments in August of 2024, Democrats appeared to be out-registering Republicans. This coincided with significant political event. Important caveat says the data cited above is based on states and territories where voters can indicate partisan affiliation on their registration forms. Not all states require or record party affiliation. How to change your party affiliation? You could generally change your party enrollment using the voter registration form or online portal. There are deadlines for changing your party affiliation to be eligible to vote in a primary election. Specific information: New York City, more New Yorkers are choosing not to register with a specific party. And New York City unaffiliated voters are the second largest bloc after Democrats. As of April of 2025, 21.1% of registered New York City voters were unaffiliated. It says, note the provided search results primarily offer overall statistics on party affiliation and discuss registration rules. Specific month-by-month changes, registration numbers for all parties across the U.S. are not available within the provided information. You may need to consult state-specific election websites or data sources for detailed monthly data. So thank you very much for that, Roger. And then this one, yeah, that's very interesting. More New Yorkers are choosing not to register with a specific party. I mean, ultimately, independence, it forces people really to focus on the policies more than anything else, which is a good thing. And then on top of it, I'm hoping that people start to forego personality and go for party. Does personality matter? It's negligible. It's not absolute. Some people use personality as an absolute versus it should be like fourth or fifth down the line of priorities, right? The first thing should be policies and record. should be the main things. So yeah, with being independent, that means you have to research your politicians. You can't just go red no matter who, or blue no matter who, or third party no matter who. You have to actually contend with their policies and see and weigh which ones actually work out best for you. So thank you very much for that, Roger. I appreciate it. All right. Now, checking to see if we have any more rants before we start the show. All right. We have a hi from Nocturnal Human. Thank you very much on the Rumble side. Okay. So let's get into the story that I have for today, because this is important. And the reason why it's so important is because this is not only having to deal with healthcare, but this is also having to deal with the class issue, especially within the Black community. And I want to get into this. So we're doing one segment today, and then we shall hang out a little bit afterwards. So stick around, because I think it's going to be, because I want to end on a fun note. So we're going to do this one first. And I missed something up. So let me get this going right here. All right. So what are we talking about today? Let's get into it. Blocking scholarships for Black doctors. This is going to be a story that I think a lot of people, especially Black Trump voters, y'all need to listen to this, right? Because here's the thing. Those of us who are, outside of duopoly, it's not as big of a deal for us. People who consider themselves to be liberal, this is going to give them an excuse to be like, see, we told you so. When in reality, the Democrats weren't really doing much for Black people either, just in different ways. But I want Black folks especially to realize that the duopoly, no matter which side of the car that's racing down the hill towards a brick wall is, whether you're in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, you're about to hit a head-on collision. And this is very important to get into. For all the Black Americans, especially, that have said that they think that Donald Trump is going to be good for them, Donald Trump is having a war on us. He's waging war on us, and some of us have not been paying attention. Some of us are so focused on one aspect of what he's doing and saying, see, that's what we voted for. When in reality, other aspects on actually helping us out materially, he's pulling the rug from right under us. He's no different than the Democrats. Let's talk about healthcare, Black folks. Let's talk about healthcare and the disparities that we face and what Donald Trump is doing. I want to get into this video first because this actually sets up the story. So, talks about why Black doctors are so important. We're going to look at this, and then we shall get into the rest of the story on the other side.
Let's turn now to our health spotlight and welcome in Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Jerome Adams. First of all, hello, how are you doing?
I am well. Good to see you.
Good as always to see you. Let's begin with a report yesterday. Only 6% of doctors in the United States are Black. The concern is that a lack of diversity in doctors can actually harm patient care. How big is that concern, and what does it mean for patients?
Well, the study just reaffirmed what we've long known, particularly for Black males. There are fewer going into medical school now than what there were in 1978. And this is not just an ethical, a moral issue. It really does impact patient care. Studies consistently show that people are taken better care of and are more responsive to their healthcare providers when they can relate to them. If you're someone who is differently abled, then that means someone who has a disability can relate to you better. If you're from a rural community, you relate better to a rural doctor. And if you're African American, studies consistently show that you have lower infant mortality rates, you have better outcomes, you're more likely to take advantage of treatments if you're being taken care of by an African American or Black doctor.
So how do we change that number? Is it college tuition help? I also know you've helped with the Black Men in White Coats, the organization that works to get young African Americans interested in medicine.
Well, we need more research into how we can improve the pipeline. Some of it is tuition assistance because, quite frankly, it's expensive to go to medical school. It's a daunting task, but that alone is not enough. You can't just give someone money and say, hey, you go for it. And I'm someone who's personally been fortunate to be able to be a part of pipeline programs where they provided me not only a scholarship, but also academic and social support when I was on campus. So there was the Meyerhoff Scholarship Program that I was in when I was an undergraduate. Eli Lilly gave me support when I was in medical school. We need holistic programs like that that look not just at the financial need, but at the social supports and the academic help that sometimes people need to be successful to get them across the finish line. We also need to show them role models. You've got to see it to believe you can be it.
Sure. Okay. We also.
So that's basically some of the basis of why it's so important to have, Black doctors, right? Especially in the Black community. Little story time. Last year, when I was trying to do my best to qualify for a kidney transplant, I remember going to the transplant office to go over numbers and what I need to do in order to be able to qualify for transplant. And so when I went there, mind you, 90% to 95% of all the doctors that I see are either white or Asian. That's the majority of the doctors that I see, right? The doctors are white or Asian. It could be Southeast Asian, it could be East Asian, what have you, right? Or sometimes maybe Arab. But that's the majority of doctors that I encounter. And so when I went there, they mentioned the doctor's name and they said, oh yeah, Dr. Watkins, he's really good. In my brain, I'm thinking that I'm going to be seeing either a white doctor or an Asian doctor. When I heard the last name Watkins, my ears perked up. I said, Dr. Watkins. Sounds like a brother, right? Or sister, whichever. And then I go to the room. They say, we're ready for you. I sit in the chair. Somebody comes in. It's a woman, white woman. I'm thinking, is this Dr. Watkins? She's like, oh no, I'm just a nurse. They're going to be taking your information. Okay, cool. She said, Dr. Watkins will be in here shortly. I'm waiting. And as I'm waiting, the door opens up. Doctors, they always knock first and then they come in, right? He walks in. I look at him. He looks at me. I look back at him. He looks back at me. We look at each other. We're staring at each other in the eyes. A big smile comes across his face and a huge smile comes across my face. It was a Black man. Dr. Anthony Watkins, Black transplant surgeon, younger than me. Younger than me. Do you know how comforting that felt to see a familial face? To see somebody that looks like you who understands what you go through? Do you know? Some of you don't. And that's okay. But the thing is that it's kind of hard to explain, but it's almost kind of like it's like a more of a societal weight is kind of light. The load is kind of lightened because I have less to explain, and it feels like. And so he daps me up. He's like, "What's going on, man?" And he sits down. He's like, "What took you so long?" Because I've been on dialysis in May, it would have been 18 years. And I told him, my reasons for not getting in at the time. Really? And then he told me, he goes, "Look, in our community, there's a lot of distrust in the medical field." He's like, I get it. But things are getting a whole lot better, especially for us. And we need to, it's like, that's why I got into transplants. Because if they see me, they might be more likely to trust, medicine a little bit more, especially knowing that people like myself have an influence on how medicine is done. Because truth be told, those of us who are Black, especially Black Americans in this country, there is a major distrust in medicine because of a lot of the disparities and a lot of the things that were done to our community in the past. And these things are, distant memory, right? I talked about Henrietta Lacks, right? What happened with her. I talked about, the medical experiments that were done on Black inmates. We've talked, many people have talked about ad nauseum about the Tuskegee experiments. We've talked about, we know about the father of gynecology, how he was experimenting on female slaves without anesthesia to study the female body. So we know. And then on top of that, we've seen and experienced where even in medical books and journals, where they would have racial disparities talking about how we feel pain less. So therefore, we are less susceptible to pain. So they're more willing to do more, things that are less sensitive. They're less likely to give us, pain blockers and pain meds in order to be able to do procedures. The studies that have been done, even just something innocuous like the pulse oximeter, right? How it's always been tested on white patients, but when it comes to Black patients, it's not tested on. So then when it comes to our outcomes, they either overcompensate or they undercompensate. And so it can lead to different issues. Even in dialysis, where they measured the GFR, the glomerular filtration rate for dialysis patients, and that they were more sensitive to white, Asian, and Latino patients than they were to Black patients, which means that we ended up on dialysis much more often. And I can guarantee you, go to the Orlando area, the Central Florida area, and you go to a dialysis center, and majority of the patients will be Black. And so all these different things come into play where we have a distrust of the medical system. Because of the disparities, because of white supremacy, because of racism, on top of the classism that happens. And so I'm saying all this to say that when we see somebody who is like us, there is a deeper sense of care to us because they know the struggle, right? Not saying that other doctors of other races or ethnicities aren't good or aren't effective, but there's an added layer of that comfortability. And you see what the doctor said, that trust factor also means that we're more likely to take the medications as prescribed. We're more likely to follow directions of the doctor a little bit more because we feel like they may be less likely to disregard us. And it's sad, but that's the way it is in this country. With that being said, there have been scholarships that have been created for us to have more Black doctors in this country. But the Trump administration does not like that because he thinks it should be merit-based. But here's the thing. If it was merit-based, then we wouldn't need a scholarship for Black doctors if it had been merit-based the entire time. But it's not. Let's get into the article. Because this is the thing a lot of people don't recognize. Some people, they don't see how this can affect us. But in reality, we need more Black doctors in this country. More Black doctors, more specialists, more nurses, RNs, LPNs, nurse practitioners. We need more. So this says, fearing reprisals, the University of Alabama, Birmingham, cancels scholarship for Black medical students. Let's get into it. It says, as Alabama grapples with a persistent physician shortage, the University of Alabama at Birmingham has terminated a privately funded scholarship for high-performing Black medical students in response to threats from the Trump administration. I've said that 3 times because I don't want to hear some bullshit about merit. No. These are high-performing students that just so happen to be Black, that, yes, is specialized for them who are Black because we have an underrepresented population of Black medical professionals in this country because of white supremacy. Are you listening? And somebody like Donald Trump just doesn't get it. And the Black people that are around Donald Trump are going to kiss his ass and be like, well, yes, Mr. Trump, you're absolutely right. With their coon-ass views and then completely disregarding the same people that they were a part of. No wonder why some people be looking you up and down when you come to the cookout. Because just because you look like us doesn't mean you are part of us. Because you done left us a long time ago. You went up the ladder and you pulled the ladder up behind you. All the kiss whose ass? Whether it was Donald Trump or Joe Biden's ass, you guys were doing. Instead of saying, Mr. Trump, there is a disparity among Black people, among Black Americans. We need to make sure that they're good. They're one of the reasons why you were able to win. But instead, they didn't advise him. Let's continue. The Herschel Lee Hamilton MD Endowed Scholarship in Medicine was created in 2013 to provide medical school tuition to Black students who maintained a 3.0 GPA and demonstrated financial need. The Hamilton family and other private donors funded the annual scholarship. The recipients were selected by UAB. On February 14th, the Trump administration issued a Dear Colleague letter warning that under its interpretation of federal law, schools are prohibited from using race in decisions about scholarships, among other things. A month later, the Department of Education announced it was investigating UAB and 6 other universities for what it called impermissible race-based scholarships. So here's the thing. What Black people have went through historically in this country. All that was race-based, which depressed us and put us at the bottom, right? And so now you want to talk about merit while we're still at the bottom. You're not performing anything that provides equity to get us back to even. Remember, Black people are about 13% of the population, but only 6% of doctors are Black. 6%. That means 94% of physicians in the United States are not Black. 94%. Okay, so how do we make up that deficit? This is one of the reasons why scholarships like this exist in the first place. Because a deficit was created by white supremacy, and so therefore you're going to have to give equity to the disenfranchised people in order to bring us back to even. But Donald Trump doesn't want that. He's like, it should be based on merit. All right, well, if you want to base things on merit, then let's do merit then. How about all the money that was made up of endowments from Harvard, take those endowments away, find a legal means to take those endowments away, and give it to the descendants of the people whose descendants were enslaved by Harvard Medical School, by Harvard College. We're going to talk about merit, right? Let's do that. Let's take money away from the Jesuits. That's right, the Jesuit priests who enslaved Africans as well. And let's give that money to the descendants. Oh, you want to talk about merit, Donald Trump? Let's talk about reparations for freedmen. That's merit, right? Because the people who built this country, right? Are they reaping the actual benefits of this country? And please do not point to that itty bitty tiny little group of Black people who are the exception rather than the rule. No. We're talking about the base, the general majority of Black people. What are you doing for them when it comes to merit? You're allowing the children of the slaveholders to keep the wealth that they stole from my ancestors and to keep living and sitting pretty while our ancestors did all the work. And now we've inherited the debt. Is that merit? Is that real merit-based? Oh, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's call it out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, everything that Donald Trump is doing, when it comes to actual material conditions, he ain't doing much. 99% of everything he's doing is based on culture war. How is that actually helping you? On April 11th, UAB's Office of Advancement and Strategic Initiatives told donors that UAB has made a decision to discontinue awarding the scholarships and to return the scholarship funds to you. Citing Education Department's February letter, UAB said it had determined that the criteria for the scholarship could not be amended to comply with the law and the scholarship's intent. Supporters of the scholarship, including Dr. Hamilton's family, said the cancellation undermines much needed efforts to support Black medical students and betrays Dr. Hamilton's legacy. And so it talks about how Dr. Hamilton was a World War II veteran and how he helped the people who were harmed during the civil rights movement. The people who had dogs sicked on them, the people who had fire hoses put on them. That's who Dr. Hamilton was. And they named the scholarship after him. This one under Alabama needs more Black doctors. It says the purpose of the scholarship was to honor and continue the advocacy my father promoted when he was alive. In a state like Alabama that has a disproportionately low number of African American physicians, it is important to have more and more diverse physicians. Studies have shown that African American people have better health outcomes when they are attended to by African American physicians. Okay, so is RFK Jr. listening? He talks about make America healthy again. What about this? What about making sure there are more Black doctors in the Black community? What is he doing to amend that? I thought it was MAHA, right? Make America healthy again. So therefore, we are part of America. Our descendants built America. So therefore, why aren't you being more zealous about making sure that we're healthy? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Being Black American in this country is also in itself a class. So therefore, this is also classism. Because when you look at the disparities, including economic disparities, who is always at the bottom? So, wealth disparities, health disparities. Sounds to me like Donald Trump don't care about Black people. And don't get me wrong, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't either. This is why we say to leave both parties. Every single Black person in this country needs to register as independent. I'm an independent. Why aren't you? Why are we continuing to allow our votes to go to people who say that they care about us, but in reality, when the rubber meets the road, they don't do a damn thing? And this is not a sexy subject. Look how many people are watching live right now. This is not a sexy subject, but it's an important one. Because the thing is, like, ultimately, when it comes to Black issues, it's not that important to some people. And that's a problem. Let's continue on. Recent research also shows that counties with more Black doctors have better health outcomes for Black residents and other marginalized by poverty. Researchers analyzed the data at discrete times points of 2009, 2014, and 2019 from 1,618 U.S. counties that had at least one Black primary care physician. They found that 10% increase in Black primary care doctors was associated with an extra month of life expectancy and lower mortality for Black patients. Despite these robust findings, more than half of U.S. counties did not have a single Black primary care physician. In Alabama, where about 26% of residents are Black, only 7% of doctors are Black. Here we go. In Alabama, 26% of the residents are Black, but only 7% of doctors are Black. That's almost 4 times less than the population. The war on Black people has not stopped when Donald Trump came in. The war on Black people has not stopped when we were under a Biden regime either. It continues to say the findings were strongest in counties with the highest rates of poverty. So it's also a class issue. Citing a Michigan study showing that Black physicians were more likely than doctors of any other racial group or ethnic group to accept new Medicaid patients. Dr. Monica Peake, physician in Jaybe, JAMA network open that the researchers' findings may reflect that compared with non-Hispanic white doctors, Black physicians disproportionately care for patients who are uninsured and underinsured, exactly what Alabama needs as one of the 10 states that have refused to expand Medicaid. So therefore, they are the ones who are more likely to accept people who are underinsured or uninsured, meaning that it would help the people who are the poorest. These are the numbers, guys. And now making it so that doctors can't have scholarships, Black doctors can't have scholarships, specialized for them in order to increase the amount of Black doctors that we have. Well, many Alabama counties have no physicians, and access to health care is extremely limited. The state consistently ranks in the bottom 5 states on indicators like infant mortality, overall child well-being, and life expectancy. The United Health Foundation, which conducts the longest-running annual assessment of the nation's health, ranked Alabama 45th in its 2024 annual report. So this really just showing, how there's a denial of history when it comes to Black doctors, right? And why it would be good for us to increase that number. On denying history, it says, why would you end a program that focuses on the development and training of Black physicians who are more likely to set up practices in those communities that have the worst health outcomes? The UAB School of Medicine has really been committed to producing a merit-based, ethnically diverse crop of physicians. Adding that the medical school has been outstanding in its administration of the school scholarship program. The family thought that there was a way to maintain the program in accordance with state and federal laws, and they were disappointed that UAB instead decided to just pull the plug on scholarship. And so here's the thing, right? A lot of times people may say, well, they could just go for other scholarships. And the problem is that, number one, you're competing more with the general population, which means that your ability to get the scholarship might be less because it's going to be on a first come, first served basis, and the money for that scholarship may run out because you're competing with the majority. Number one. Number two is there's still elements of white supremacy within the medical field. So how do you weed that out? Right? You have to weed it out by having more voices that can speak to the community, that can speak on behalf of the community. There was a nurse on TikTok that was talking about how they were labor and delivery, and one of the nurses was white, and she said she wanted to do a psych consult on one of her patients because she said she kept hitting herself in the head. The Black nurse, who was a nurse manager at the time, asked the white nurse, was her patient Black or African American? And she said, yeah. And she goes, was she wearing what it looked like to be a weave or a sew-in? And the white nurse didn't know if she was or not. So the Black nurse went, nurse manager went, looked at the patient, talked to her, came back. She said, "There's no need for a psych eval. All she's doing, her head itches, and she has a weave in, and so she was patting her head to relieve the itching." That is something that is in the Black community. That's unique in the Black community. So therefore, there is no psych evaluation needed on that patient. But if the nurse manager was white and didn't understand that cultural significance, then a psych evaluation would have been done on that patient, and it would have been unnecessary. By the way, that psych evaluation would have also been added to the doctor bill for that patient. So this is why it's important as well to have Black physicians, more Black nurses, more Black doctors, and so on and so forth. How many Black women have complained that they had endometriosis or some other type of condition, and they had an OB that was either male or white, and they didn't really listen to them? And then next thing you know, they end up actually having the issues that they have, and it could have been relieved earlier on, but they weren't listened to. How many Black patients have complained about pain, and then somebody automatically thinks, oh, well, this person is just looking for drugs based on this? Because it happens. White, I'm gonna tell you guys something. This is one of the reasons why whenever I have a surgery, I never finish my pain meds. I will always opt for the over-the-counter Tylenol, extra strength. You know, want to know why? Because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to get high off of these drugs. I still have a full bottle of opioids from my transplant surgery. Still do. It's just part and parcel of one of the biggest issues that we face as patients being Black in America. It's not just when we're riding down the street in our cars. It's also when we have to go to the doctor's offices. It's also when we have to go to the hospital. It's also when we have an emergency. That's part of the issue. And when people look at us and go, I don't see much of an issue going on, it's because they don't understand the things that we have to go through in this country just because of the color of our skin. And it's sad because that's ultimately every single time we have to get treated for something, we have to go through all these hoops. And then on top of that, a lot of the testing and things like that are race-based, which means that there may be something wrong, but doctors may disregard and say, oh, there's nothing wrong, when in reality, it's based on your race. So if you're white, if you have these numbers, oh, well, there's something concerning there. But if you're Black and you have these same numbers, well, it's not as concerning. So therefore, they may underdiagnose something that is actually wrong. And then once that underdiagnosis happens, and then when we wind up with some medical condition, whether it be pulmonary, whether it be renal, whether it be cardiac, then they're like, wait, how did this happen? Because you actually went by a race-based test. You went by standards that were race-based. Instead of actually doing it according to just general numbers of human beings. And that's part of the issue. So yeah, let's continue on with this because, and yes, if you guys sense, I feel very strongly about this because I've been dealing with the medical field for almost 20 years as a dialysis patient. I've been dealing with this. I'm still dealing with this as a transplant recipient. Now, thankfully, it's gotten better, but it's still an issue, especially now since they're telling us, "Oh well, we're going to stop the scholarships that may put more Black doctors in the area, especially since we're disproportionately doing worse economically in many different areas. So therefore, we need those scholarships." Let's continue on. It says the Department of Education's description of programs like the scholarship as discriminatory amounts to denying history. It's an indication that the Secretary of Education is not a student of U.S. history or race relations and the construct of race in the United States. She doesn't recognize that the disparities that exist are a result of historic practices, policies, and laws in generations past. These schools are trying to divorce themselves from these programs as if society self-corrects. It doesn't. America socially, as it relates to race or inclusion or health outcomes, has never self-corrected. You have to have intentional programs of inclusion in order to change the outcomes. Yes, because whenever the outcomes needed to be changed, it was never through, "Oh, well, this is wrong. We should just do it this way." No, we literally fought a war over it. We fought a war over it. We literally had people that were bitten by dogs, that were sprayed by water cannons, that were beat over the head by police, shot with rubber bullets, gassed by tear gas, in order to be able to move the needle forward on having actual equity and equality. So people, when we talk about having less racial disparities, when we need more Black doctors, people want to point and go, "Oh, well, you guys just need more of a merit-based system." It is a merit-based system. That's the problem. It is a merit-based system because you guys, I'm not talking about all y'all, but I'm talking about the system itself. Went against merit based on race by making sure that anybody who was white got a pass, but when it came to those of us who are Black, we didn't get a pass. And so this is why we have less doctors. And then on top of that, you factor in not just the race, but also the economics of it, how we're disproportionately economically more disadvantaged than any other group. And so therefore, medical school is extremely expensive. And then people look at me like I'm crazy whenever I say we should have tuition-free public school, including, in my opinion, up to a doctorate degree. I mean, if you want to make it merit-based, fine. If you want to make it universal, okay, fine. But if you don't, well, then you need to give us reparations and make sure that all the medical schools also give free medical school training to any Black person or any descendant of slaves that wants to study medicine. It's got to be one or the other. I'm fine with either one. Make it free across the board for all medical students, or give us reparations, and part of that reparations package, not only with cash reparations, but also making sure that we get tuition free at medical schools, at schools for law, technical education schools, and the like. Because ultimately, this country was never based on merit. It was never based on that. Who were the ones that were allowed to vote back then? Exactly. Was it based on merit? No. Never was. And so this is why this topic is so important. Because we're constantly being swept under the rug. Whether it's the issues that are brought to us by Democrats or Republicans, it's never actually solved by taking care of the underlying cause. Really, the underlying cause is capitalism. Because that means if you cause equity to happen, that means that it signals to all working people that, well, if they can get that to happen for them equitably, what can we do, as the working class collectively for ourselves? Because then you start to get rid of those disparities. So this is why I say this is the war on Black Americans. And the war on Black Americans is also a war on the working class. This is why we need to change the system. Because there's some equity, sorry, can't talk today. Some equity needs to happen. Notice I didn't say equality, I said equity, because you need equity in order to have equality. In order to help us reach a position where we are equal. So don't stop trying to fight for a brand new system. Continue to have solidarity with people who are different than you. And make sure that we try to do what we can to build each other up. Because ultimately, we're going to save us, not these politicians who are basically the lackeys of the corporate dictators. It's going to be us that save the day for ourselves. That's all I got. Go ahead and give a like to the stream. Thank you very much to everybody for staying for this segment. And we're going to go into check for any Rumble rants. I think we're good on the Rumble rants. So, and then check on the Rockfin. So we're good on the Rockfin side too. So let's get into the general chat. But first, we're going to do a shout out to the patrons. Thank you so much for being patrons on Patreon. For those of you who continuously watch RBN, you guys notice that we not only talk the talk, but we try to walk the walk. We try to practice what we preach here. And in doing so, that means focusing on doing what we can for our communities, because we know that politicians can't save us. We know that it's going to be up to us. And as we continue this work of not just informing, but also encouraging and trying to activate you, it becomes tougher year by year, because we know that the system and stenographers are doing whatever they can to suppress our voices. And really, because they don't want more people to be awakened like you are. But you guys allow us to be able to do that. And with humble hearts, we thank you. Thank you to all the patrons on Patreon. So let's get into some of the comments. I know you guys got some things to say. Katie Lewis, who's also part of the Orlando RBN chapter, says the answer is to follow Cuba and make high education free. Agreed. And thank you so much, brother, for the birthday wishes. Appreciate it. You see, Jed Stamas, thank you very much. Says the only solution to U.S. problems, let African Americans like you lead. Obama was a sellout. The most marginalized should be the ones who lead, except for podcasters. I do not believe that podcasters should lead movements at all. We're the amplifiers of the voices. We're the bullhorns, but we're not the person that leads. And so, yes, I agree, but not me personally. Like, I'm just an amplifier, right? Let it be somebody who's on the streets doing the work that people don't know, which is why I'm trying to have on more people who you may not know of, but that could speak to the ills of this system and push us more forward. This is why I'll be having on a community member on Tuesday. You know, you guys seen him on RBN one time before, but I'll be having him on this Tuesday to talk about news stories as well as their community actions. So we'll be doing that. True Sensei says, the United States, the current system purposely suppresses access to healthcare, in particular for Black communities. Elites do not want the 99% to live longer and prosper. Cobra Commander says, take Jaybe out dancing. Oh, Lord. Yep, because it's somebody's birthday. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. See, Texas Baker says, I'm there for you. Love your work with Jill Stein. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for the super chat. You see, Kate Mack says, I can honestly say the best doctor I ever had was a Black male, and he was the most caring, kindest, thorough doctor I've ever had, and I'm white. Thank you very much for that. Sometimes we have to do 10 times. We have to be 10 times as good to get half as far. It's a sad reality. Sonic Warhol says, curious on your thoughts. I teach a school at W88 AP courses. We have cost waivers for low-income families. Only whites and Asians enroll, no Blacks or Hispanics. Any thoughts on why we recruit too? Part of it is also because we got to talk about the disparities in schools that are K through 12. A lot of these most schools are actually funded through property taxes. And if the properties are lower valued, that means the taxes that are collected are also going to be lower, which means lower resources for those schools. And the schools that are typically under-resourced are the areas where the property values are lower, those being more Black and brown neighborhoods. So because of that, then these schools are not as resourced heavily. Students are also not as encouraged from these areas to pursue medical school. And on top of it, that it is discouraged because a lot of these students are like, medical school is extremely expensive on top of it. So therefore, they don't pursue it because they don't think they can afford it. Because a lot of times these scholarships are very hard to get. And on top of it, you have to get financial aid. And plus, we do not push, when it comes to pushing our students in that direction. We don't. And on top of it, a lot of these students think, they're led to believe that there's only certain industries they can get into in order to get out of poverty. Whether that be going through the military, getting into artistic pursuits like the music industry, or in sports. That's what we're taught, right? And so, unfortunately, it's not pushed as heavily as it should be. On top of that, how many people see doctors? It's kind of funny. Even a black TV doctor can inspire black kids to become physicians. I'm a child of the 80s. We watched The Cosby Show. Cliff Huxtable was a doctor, an OBGYN. He delivered babies. Even though he was just a doctor on TV, you know how many people were inspired by that? And so therefore, a lot of my contemporaries, my Black American contemporaries, they were more inspired to become doctors because they saw a doctor on TV, a black doctor. So they did. That was part of what led them to go down that path. I have somebody in my family that wants to go to medical school. And the thing is like, it's kind of hard when you don't see people that look like you in that field that often. If you can see it, then you can believe it, then you can achieve it. But we're not seeing as much. And that's the sad part. I think there needs to be extra special attention given to those who you don't see as much. So, for instance, if you are recruiting, I would go to the most disenfranchised schools in the area and try to encourage more students, especially in Black and brown neighborhoods, to come to your school. Pursue them more. It's the same thing as, and I would say this, for it's the same thing as encouraging young women to get into the trades. By trades, I mean welding, carpentry, electrician, plumbing, right? IT, what have you. I think extra special attention should be given to women to get into those fields because they're mostly male dominated. So yeah, encourage more women to get in those fields, right? And so I think it comes with how much attention are you giving to those areas? Because sometimes, I hate to put it like this, sometimes people need permission in order to be able to pursue something like that. To know that, hey, it's okay. You can go ahead and do that. And also the support has to be there. The social support as well as the financial support. Problem is that even if you have the social support, but the financial support's not there, it's not going to happen. Makes it tougher. But I applaud you on, pursuing, more Black people to get into medicine. Keep it up. But more work needs to be done. Mr. Majestic says merit-based culture isn't war on Black people. Get off the liberal plantation and stop playing victim. We all need to work together to fight the establishment and not each other. Here's the thing. Merit-based culture does not exist in this country. I'm going to say it again with the microphone in my mouth. Merit-based culture in this country does not exist. Are you listening? Wait. Hold up. Wait 1 second. You're the one who's saying that to me while you have a child trafficker as your avatar? You got to be kidding me right now. You literally have a child trafficker in your avatar, and you're telling me about merit-based systems. Man, get the fuck out of here. Thomas Jefferson was a human trafficker, racist, white supremacist. Get the fuck out of here. What the hell, man? God, these people always find me. Anyways, moving on. Let me see. Oh, Roger says triple Whopper with cheese, BLT in the DM. Roger, you calling me fat, aren't you? You calling me fat. I know I am, but you call me fat. I know I'm a big back. I know I am. And that's okay. I'm working on it. I'm going to the gym now, working on my fitness. I'm trying to get like Savvy. Let me see. Interesting. Okay. Wait. Wait. Oh, Roger. Let me show y'all. Hang on. Roger sent me this. Oh my goodness. Wait, what's this? Okay. This is from Fox News. $94 million in grants awarded to Jewish faith-based organizations to prevent violence and terrorism. Oh, you guys want to talk about merit-based, right? Says Secretary Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security awarded a staggering $94.4 million in federal grants through the National Security Supplemental to 512 Jewish faith-based organizations on Friday. The grants, which are allocated through the Nonprofit Security Grant Program, are part of a pre-designated fund to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, under DHS, with the proposed providing support for targeted hardening and other physical security enhancements. DHS is working to put a stop to the deeply disturbing rise in anti-Semitic attacks across the United States. It's the DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told Fox News Digital. This is money is necessary at all is tragic. Anti-Semitic violence has no place in this country. Hang on, let me ask you a question. Why aren't they saying this about anti-Black violence that's happening in this country constantly, every single time we go? Wait, where is this money for the AME churches? Where is this money for the Baptist churches? Where's this money for the mosques, which there are a lot of Black Muslims too? I'm just saying, look, if we're going to start talking about, protecting different marginalized, disenfranchised people, why are we going after the police who constantly do violence against us disproportionately, those of us who are Black? And so when we talk about actually doing something good for Black people, when it comes to us having scholarships for doctors that would save lives, oh, well, that's a bridge too far. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do what we can to protect people who are Jewish. No, fine. But keep that same energy for other marginalized groups like American freedmen, like other Black people, like, Black immigrants, just like with LGBTQ people, just like with women, just like with many different groups, right? Fine. If you want to do it for them, fine. But do it for other marginalized groups too. But you don't. You don't. That's the crazy part. I'm fine with protecting people, but keep that same energy for everybody, right? My goodness, wow. All right, thank you very much for that, Roger. Let me see. Let me take a look at this. Roger really did say you have a Whopper with cheese. He added some bacon on that thing too, and maybe even a little bit of avocado. Let's hear this.
It's not only secular, because the founders of Zionism and the people, the Zionists today, are not only secular. They basically, many of them, hate Judaism. They hate God and his religion. For example, I have a friend of mine who grew up in Zionist education, grew up in Jerusalem. And he told me that what he was taught is that we, the Jewish people, have two enemies. Now guess who the two are and who the first is. The first is the religious Jew, and the second is the Arab. But that movement, the movement of Zionism, who is secular and who refuses to follow Judaism, they misuse this very same religion they refuse to follow, and they misuse it to justify crimes which are forbidden in this very same religion, because killing and stealing, oppressing an entire people, all of this is forbidden in Judaism. And as I said before, the whole concept, the idea of Zionism to build a sovereign homeland for Jews is in total contrast of Judaism. Us, people in the free world, should say something. This is unjust. This is unjust for the people of Palestine that this voice is attempted to be silenced. But it's not only doing injustice for the Palestinian people, this is doing injustice for the Jewish people as well. Because when you conflate Judaism and Zionism, you conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, you're making a statement as if all Jews support all what's going on, and as if all Jews are accountable to what's going on. But we always need to know better than that. And we try to educate people to understand that anti-Zionism has nothing to do with anti-Semitism, because Judaism and Zionism are not the same. Judaism is a religion. Zionism is a political movement. Should never be conflated. A lot of Jewish people in New York, many of them support Israel, but there's a massive community who is anti-Zionist. And people might not know because the mainstream media would never show you that. Like, for example, there was a couple of years ago, there was a huge mass anti-Zionist rally, a Jewish anti-Zionist rally in front of the Israeli consulate on 2nd Avenue, Manhattan. And then CBS would announce that there is a traffic jam on 2nd Avenue. And they would not say what the reason is. a number of my teachers were Holocaust survivors, and you know, they were telling stories, terrible stories, and unfortunately we're hearing similar stories now. This is something that should, the Jewish history in the Holocaust should be a lesson for Jewish people, how to refuse this genocide taking place in Gaza. It's not.
Wow. And so this is why this is why a lot of, you know, Jewish people, especially the anti-Zionist Jewish people, our comrades that we have had, whether it be Guys and Girls, shout out to you, whether it be Lee Camp, whether it be Katie Halper, or I'm blanking on some names, you know, Max Blumenthal, whether a lot of the anti-Zionist Jewish people are like, rise in anti-Semitism. No. They see a rise in Islamophobia, but they're like, we don't see it. Meanwhile, I just talked about, was it last week? Yeah, last week, about a black man in Albany, New York, that was found hanging from a tree. How many people talked about that besides me? Oh, but people don't want to talk about rising anti-blackness. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They're doing all this for, right? And my thing is like, look, if you're going to do this for them, fine, but keep that same energy for the people who are also the most marginalized. But they don't want to do it. Also, why aren't they protecting the anti-Zionist Jewish people? Because the anti-Zionist Jewish people are actually getting more attacked more by Zionists than anybody else. They're getting attacked more, you know, in regards to Israel and Palestine. Roger says, we are an adaptive people, Jaybe. Understand that this is a chess game where we are playing with white supremacy. They make a move, then we counter their move, back and forth and back. This is a result of affirmative action, which was race-based, being taken down with the help of the Asian community using Racist Heritage Foundation lawyer Edward Bloom. Instead of actually going after the legacy admissions, which benefit white students, they chose to come after us. Now they're paying for it with what Trump has been doing, but that's another story. Okay, here's how you get around it. 1, make it lineage and merit-based. Call it the Friedman Scholarship instead. 2, emulate it at state level. 3, there are no federal universities. The only government colleges and universities are at state and local level. Therefore, make them all free. Each public university must have an advanced state-of-the-art doctorate medical practice degree program. What I keep telling you guys for the past 3 years, study abroad for free. Human biology is the same no matter where you are in the world. Then come back with no debt, ready to start your life. Here this one says, yes, there are several scholarships specifically for individuals of Chinese heritage or those seeking to practice medicine in China. Here are some examples of scholarships for Chinese individuals pursuing medical careers. The Chinese American Medical Society Scholarship, or CAMS. The scholarship is offered by the Chinese American Medical Society, and it provides financial assistance to outstanding medical students of Chinese descent who demonstrate financial need. Chinese American Physicians Society, or CAPS, scholarship says the Chinese American Physicians Society offers scholarships to medical students in the United States with a special emphasis on applicants willing to serve in Chinese communities after graduation. China Scholarship Council, the Chinese government scholarship program, offers support for international students, including those pursuing medical degrees in China. Says, yes, there are scholarships available for medical students of Korean heritage, though including those from Korea who are pursuing studies in the United States or South Korea. These scholarships can be found through various organizations like the Korean American Scholarship Foundation and the Global Korea Scholarship Program, among others. Here's more detailed breakdown. For the students in the U.S., particularly those of Korean heritage, the Korean American Scholarship Foundation, says KASF, offers scholarships for qualified Korean American students, including those from Korea who are enrolled in full-time programs in the U.S. They have regional chapters, so you need to apply to a chapter corresponding to your school's location. Let me see. It says, yes, there are scholarships available for students, including those of Italian heritage, who are pursuing medical studies, including those who plan to practice medicine in Italy. So there's one for Italians. Yes, there's scholarships specifically for Puerto Ricans interested in practicing medicine, as well as general scholarship for Hispanics, Latinx students that may be applicable. Here are some examples of scholarships that may be available. So there's for Puerto Ricans. And the thing is, it's not Latino, it's specifically Puerto Rican, right? It's not Dominican, it's not Cuban, it's not Mexican, it's not Venezuelan, it's not Argentinian, it's not Brazilian, just Puerto Rican, right? It says, yes, there are scholarships available for Haitian students pursuing degrees in medicine and related fields. So you got ones for Haitian people, right? These are all lineage based. Let me see. What is this one? It says, yes, it's possible for someone with a medical degree from another country to practice medicine in the U.S., but requires navigating a specific process. This involves demonstrating proficiency in U.S. medical standards, completing a residency at the U.S., and obtaining state licensure. All right. So talks about finding residency, licensing. You got to be proficient in English. Says, while having a medical degree in another country doesn't automatically qualify someone to practice in the U.S., it is possible to achieve this by fulfilling the necessary steps and demonstrating competency in U.S. medical standards. So you have that as well. They're all lineage based. He said, I think what you guys are doing in the content creator space is great, where you will show what's the problem and then tell us what we can do by providing solutions. We have shown how to transition from recognizing the problem to here's the solution. We definitely must now put an overemphasis on transitioning from the solution to the space of applying those solutions and encouraging people to run them as citizen ballot measures, specifically as amendments if they can. You trying to get like Sabby going to the gym, Sabby trying to get like a man with all those muscles. She's growing to the gym. She's going to be like Mike Tyson soon. Love you, Sab. Don't knock me out in the first round. Okay. Knock you out in the first round. I'm afraid she'll knock me out in the first round. Anyways, so yeah. But yes, there are. In fact, I think there's hang on. Let me show you something else, Roger. Because if we're going to be talking about scholarships, right? Let me show you this too. Yes, there are scholarships specifically for left-handed people. There's the Frederick and Mary F. Beckley Scholarship offered by Juanita College in Pennsylvania. This scholarship provides financial aid of $1,000 to $1,500 annually to left-handed students with academic success and financial need. The Andrew Macrina Scholarship, a well-known scholarship for left-handed individuals. James River Church Left-Handed Scholarship, a notable option for lefties seeking financial assistance. Lawyers Plus Southpaw Scholarship, Heiken USA Performing Arts Scholarship, Picard Perry Pufau Southpaw Scholarship, Bold.org Note Essay Community Scholarship. These are all scholarships for people that are left-handed. Guess what? A lot of you guys would not qualify for it, but guess what? I would, because I'm left-handed. But we can't have a scholarship for freedmen. We can't have a scholarship for Black people. We can have it for Koreans. We can have it for Chinese. We can have it for Haitian people. We can have it for Puerto Ricans. We can have it for left-handed people. but we can't have it for Black people. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? It's crazy, man. Crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, Jacqueline, thank you. She said you're cuddly like a teddy bear. Oh my goodness, thank you so very much. Oh my God. Sonic World says they're DEIing for Jewish people. Oh my God. My brother KD Lewis says they're crying about anti-Semitism is about as legitimate as white people crying about Black violence following the release of Birth of a Nation in 1919. Baby, you hit the nail on the head, bro. Let me tell you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he said, damn you lefties. Oh my goodness. Not only am my politics is left, but I'm also left. Wait. wait, Roger. Oh my Lord. Let me take a look at this. You you did a Rockman chat just for this one. Because you heard this one, you were like, oh, I am offended. Roger, thank you very much for the tip. He says, waiting for the right wing to challenge that. Why is there a scholarship for lefties but not righties? That's woke. But it's true. Like, I knew about this scholarship since I was in high school. Yeah. Sabs is a boxer too. I don't know, but she looked like she could throw a left hook. You know them girls from Baltimore. We don't play with them. You know Monique's from Baltimore too, right? Yeah, I don't play with her. I saw her welcome home Roscoe Jenkins. She wasn't playing. She wasn't acting. I think that was real. So yeah, today's the birthday. And look, I don't know what I'm going to be doing today. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to make for dinner. I think I know what I'm going to make. Some people are going to hate me for this, especially people who are vegetarian and vegan in chat. I'm sorry, but I do eat meat. I just wish we had more like sustainable, like no factory farming, things like that. But that's a whole nother discussion. But I'm thinking about having some pork chops for dinner. I don't eat pork very often. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna saute them, just like kind of get them like a nice caramelization, and then once I caramelize them, then I'm gonna toss them in the oven, cook them just when they're at temp. And what am I gonna have? I may end up doing some broccoli, and I like to season my broccoli with salt, pepper, garlic, and then I like to drizzle olive oil on it. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God, broccoli's so good that way. And then I think I may do some brown rice on the side. Either brown rice or I'm thinking about putting some baked potatoes in the oven. I don't know which one I'm gonna do. I might end up doing baked potatoes. I don't know. Depends on how we're feeling. But we don't have the big, huge russet baked potatoes. We have kind of like the medium-sized russets. That's what we have. I think one would be fine enough for me. I don't know. I gotta think. I really don't feel like cooking on my birthday though. But what are you gonna do? Brothers are broke. Anyway, it's been a rough month. But yeah. Let me see. Albany. Jed says Albany, New York. I will watch that video and sub to your Patreon. Oh, thank you very much. That one, the video about what happened in Albany, that was on RBN. So let me see if I can find it. Hang on. I'll put the link for it in the chat. Let me see. Yeah, I found it. Okay, so I'm gonna put the link to that in the chat so you can watch. Because yeah, that story, Jed, I did last week. Here's the clip from it so you can watch it after we're done here. But yeah, there was and it turns out the police basically had ruled it self-harm. I'm trying to be careful with what I say, but they ruled it self-harm when in reality, black man in his 50s chooses to harm himself by hanging himself from a tree. Go ahead and watch that. It's a whole thing. I'm telling you right now, it's sad, and it happened in Albany. Zoya says, "Happy birthday, JB. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, JB. Happy birthday to you." Thank you very much. I got a song from Zoya. I just imagine Zoya singing that to me, and she sounded like Celine Dion. Hello, my name is Celine Dion. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Anyway, Taylor says, "I wonder how many Black Americans are illegally denied a CCW permit in Albany. What is a CCW permit? If you can enlighten me on what a CCW permit is, I don't know. But thank you." Oh yeah, I guess if one is ambidextrous, they can get paid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can play like you're left-handed. Jacqueline says, "I think I can see where this is going. Are there scholarships for people of Freedman descent?" I don't think so. There's one for Black people, but that could include Black people who are descendants of immigrants or Black people who are just, freedmen. I don't know of anyone that's specifically for freedmen. There should be, at least, but yeah. Oh, carrying concealed weapon permit. That's actually a really good question. Black Americans that are illegally denied a concealed and carry permit. That would be interesting. The thing is, it's like even if you got a permit, police wouldn't care. They would still take you down. They still would delete you from life. You know what I mean? Even if you had a permit. That's honestly how I feel. Like they still would, they still would shoot you. Zoya says the clip regarding the black man from the black man lynched in New York premiere tomorrow if people want to watch. Premiere tomorrow? Oh wait, it hasn't came out yet? Oh no, it came out yesterday. I think that's what you meant. Yeah, because I see it's already got 637 views. Okay. Thanks, Soya. And then True Sensei says broccoli and garlic is super healthy and delicious. Cruciferous vegetables are great for immune system. Garlic chelates heavy metals from the body. Yeah, I'm a garlic lover. Yeah. Oh man. Taylor says this country is trying to eradicate foundational blacks. That's why they thwart our medical progress. This is why I tell Black Americans, like, look, you know, somebody like Donald Trump is not the way, man. The duopoly is not the way. And we need to start building, doing mutual aid and building dual power. Look to our ancestors, you know, and to our elders, people who were a part of the Black Panther Party. And they built coalitions when necessary in order to achieve, right? We can't just sit here and, you know, depend on these politicians. These politicians are not going to be, they're not our saviors, you know? And to answer Jacqueline's question about Friedman scholarships, Roger gave an answer. He says, so this needs to be tightened up a bit. Everywhere where they say Black, it should say Friedman. It's almost there, but it's not like, I'm sorry, it's like not quite. It's like they have the word in some places, but in other places they'll say Black. Let's see here. It says, yes, there are scholarships for American freedmen and their descendants, recognizing the historical and ongoing impact of slavery and aiming to promote educational advancement and equality. Scholarships are Descendants of Truth and Reconciliation Foundation, Thurgood Marshall Fund. This is a need-based scholarship that provides up to $10,000 annually to certified descendants of Jesuit slaveholding for attendance at historically Black colleges and universities and other post-secondary institutions. The foundation partners with TMCF to support the educational aspirations of these descendants. Enslaved Ancestors College Access Scholarship Program from the University of Virginia. This program provides scholarships to students enrolled in degree or certificate programs at UVA who have a demonstrated historic connection to slavery in Virginia. Well, shit, I qualify for that because my family comes from Essex County. It says the program prioritizes direct descendants of individuals enslaved on property owned by UVA or those who have found and financed UVA. Oh, it has to be through the University of Virginia. Okay, but I do have, like, there is a Fauntleroy plantation in Virginia. Lemon Scholarship, that sounds yummy. Endowment for the Ann R. Wills Scholarship Endowment, College of William and Mary. These endowments provide need-based support to undergraduate students with a demonstrated historic connection to slavery, aligning with Virginia law for reparations. Reparations Project Scholarship. This organization offers scholarship to African American law students in Georgia with a family connection to enslavement in the state. Woodland Family Scholarship Fund. This fund provides assistance for college tuition to descendants of enslaved people from Woodlands Plantation. Broader scholarship opportunities for Black students, including descendants of freedmen. The United Negro College Fund, because of mine, it's a terrible thing to waste. It says, is the largest private scholarship provider for minorities and offers various scholarships for students attending over 1,100 schools, including HBCUs. Now, here's the thing. The United Negro College Fund is interesting because they used to have a telethon every year. It was called An Evening of Stars with Lou Rawls, right? And so they would have like a bunch of people who would sing, you know, like Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight and Stevie Wonder and, you know, all the greats, right? They would come out and sing. And so they would give, you know, these scholarships to Black students, especially those who are descendants of slaves. So it's called the United Negro College Fund. and their motto was, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." And so, I remember that. And so, yeah, telethons are a thing of the past. Wow. And telethons used to last like 24 hours. Like they would start at like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning, and then they would be till like 1, 2 a.m. the next day. Telethons were a thing back in the day. Let me see. The Third Court Marshall College Fund says provides scholarships for students attending public HBCUs of predominantly Black institutions. NAACP scholarships. The NAACP offers several scholarships to Black students pursuing various fields of study based on academic excellence and community service. The Gates Scholarship, a highly selective, full-cost scholarship for outstanding minority students from low-income backgrounds. National Society of Black Engineers Scholarship, the NSBE, provides scholarships to increase diversity in engineering. The Congressional Black Caucus Foundation scholarships says the CBCF supports Black students through scholarships and leadership programs. It says, important to note that many scholarships for Black students do not specifically require proof of descent from enslaved people. However, they are designed to support students who have historically faced systemic disadvantages due to race. The scholarships mentioned above specifically address the legacy of slavery through their eligibility requirements or focus on addressing historical injustices. All right. Thank you so very much for that, Roger. So yes, they do exist. It's just there's not that many. Yeah, that's the only problem. I think we should have like something more, but it just doesn't. There were plenty of people who escaped slavery, but they have been counted as freedmen. I would need to do more research on that question, but I mean, I don't see why they shouldn't. But the problem is, like, are you really free if the law tries to pursue you? Because the problem is, it's like if they escape, that means that the law still is trying to get them back under enslavement. So technically they're free because they emancipated themselves, they freed themselves, but the state still wants to put them back into slavery. So they're not necessarily free from being pursued. So it's like that. It's kind of like a technicality. But then once the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, then yes, they're free. However, that freedom, it's kind of funny. That freedom does come with an asterisk, because that freedom only is available if you're not violating vagrancy laws. Basically meaning if you're just standing around not doing anything, that means that you don't have a job. And if you don't have a job, that means that you go to jail. And then they force you into hard labor. See? So unfortunately, freedmen still, the fact that we still have slavery in this nation is just limited to people who are in prison. It's still a huge wrong that still needs to be completely wiped out. Let me check to see if we have. Whoop. Okay. Let's go to here. I'm glad I checked the Rumble. We have a Rumble rant. Thank you for this, Sonic Warhol says, thanks for the response. Thank you very much, Sonic Warhol. Appreciate it. This still they're DIing for Jewish people. That one cracks me up. What's this? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Hang on. Sonic Warhol. Oh my God. Roger, Roger, you're gonna crack up. Roger, I hope you're tall. I hope you're over 6 foot. If not, you're gonna be mad. Look at what I found. Tall People Scholarships. Tall Clubs International Student Scholarship is $2,000. There's a scholarship for tall people. A tall people scholarship? Wait, it says Tall Clubs International Foundation awards annual scholarships to deserving high school seniors in North America. TCI Foundation receives scholarship nominations from Tall Club International's local member clubs and member at-large across North America. From this pool of nominations, recipients are selected to receive a scholarship award from Tall Clubs International Foundation. In order to be accepted as a potential scholarship recipient, all applicants must meet the following requirements. Meet the minimum height requirement for membership in Tall Clubs International. 5'10" for women and 6'2" for men and stocking feet. B, at age, be entering your first year of higher education. College must intend to enter an accredited college university as a full-time student, no part-time. Funding must use the funds if awarded for attending that college university. Enrollment agrees that enrollment must be completed within the current calendar year. So you have to be at least 6'2" to get this scholarship. Oh my God. There are some people, and look, is this height discrimination? Roger, but having a scholarship for freedmen or having a scholarship for Black people is a bridge too far. Oh, how much you want to bet there's a scholarship for short people? How much you want to bet there's scholarship for just women? Yep, there's scholarship for everybody. And by the way, I would not qualify for this scholarship. I'm not tall enough. I know. Hell, Rome wouldn't even be qualified for the scholarship. And he's the tallest one out of all of us. And Sabby damn sure wouldn't qualify for this scholarship as a woman because she's under 5'10", even though she still can kick some ass. So, yeah. In fact, me and my oldest brother wouldn't qualify, but my other brother, he would. Wait. Katie Lewis, you still watching? We wouldn't qualify. You and me wouldn't qualify, bro. Oh my God. Oh. Whew. So this is why it is important for us, like if we're sitting here going, oh well, it has to be merit based. Well, how merit based is it based on your height? How merit based is it based on which hand that you're dominant with? Or what about the people who play sports best with their left hand, but they write with their right hand? Which one? Is it based on that? Mm-hmm. So yeah. And yet Donald Trump wants to go after ones for people who are Black. My gosh. I'm done. Anywho, let me. Jackie says they're going to be scholarship based on eye color next. Let's research it. Wait. Oh my gosh. Jacqueline. Can you get a scholarship for having blue eyes? If you have blue eyes, this might help you receive a scholarship. Scholarship for blue eyes could make your education more affordable. This scholarship may limit the number of people who are eligible to apply. Organizations may request you write an essay describing aspects of your life where you stand out. Lever Edge $1,000 scholarship. Oh my gosh. I wonder if there's one for. Hold up. Wait. Oh, hold up. Wait. Scholarships for brown eyes. There's one for a $1,000 scholarship for people with brown eyes. Oh. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. There is a Disney super fan scholarship. Oh my Lord. Wow. Mickey. Why? Because I love you. Truth is stranger than fiction, Jacqueline. Truth is stranger than fiction. Oh my gosh. I need a drink. Wait. Is there one for cat people? Wait. Wait. Oh my God. Hang on. Meme speller. Hold up. Wait a minute. 27 awesome animal science scholarships for animal lovers. My God. Animal scholarships. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, if you really want to be, scholarship awarded to future veterinarian and animal sciences. Yeah. Let me see. Cat Lovers Unite. Here's a $1,000 scholarship for cat lovers. Oh my gosh. A voice for cats. Cat Lovers Unite. Here's a $1,000 scholarship opportunity for students who love cats who are doing what they can to give them better lives. You know who would definitely qualify for that? Rome. Rome loves cats. So you cannot vote out fascism. I'm not reading that live on stream. Hang on. Pyromancer says it's leftist policies that come up with that trash. Let me hang on. Whoa. Hang on. You mean to tell me there aren't scholarships for people who are Christian? Who are evangelicals? Let's take a look. Oh, well, what do you know? Is it just the left? Scholarships for evangelicals. Several scholarship opportunities exist for evangelical Christians. These include scholarships specifically for students pursuing ministry or related fields, as well as general scholarship for students with strong religious convictions. Very interesting, Pyromancer. You say, oh, it's leftist policy that came up with that trash. Meanwhile, there are actual scholarships for people who are right-wing too. Stop. Just stop. Come on now. Anyway. I'm going to head out because I got to go. I wanted to just, chew the fat with you guys, chop it up a little bit more. Even though I only had one segment today, I just felt like I wanted to spend, part of my birthday with y'all because, you guys mean a lot to us here at RBN. Because here's one thing I'm going to say about our audience. Our audience are filled with brilliant people. They're filled with people who are compassionate, people who are kind, people who are lovers of justice, who want an equal and equitable system, who really just want to see the world win. And I am proud of our audience. So that's one thing I appreciate. Thank you so much. PJ says, happy birthday, Florida comrade. Thank you so very much. Randy Bray, good to see you. Thank you very much for that as well. Yeah, let's go to this. Roger said in Rumble. He said, "Oh God, you mentioned vocational trade. Don't say that around Bush or have a fit." Yes, he did not sound too embracing of the vocational when you mentioned it, and was not lost upon me how much your energy changed, just like his energy changed and my energy aligned with yours. With his reaction when it came back and try to clean it up by saying, "Oh, we embrace all vocational." Too late, brother. You expose yourself to often working with your hands has been equated with ignorance when it comes to our community. Why? Because a lot of us were too poor to go to college and we had to drop out of school, limiting us to a third, fourth, fifth grade education to take care of our family. And the only skills we had was our hands. No one was trying to bring back, like he said, the old Booker T. Washington argument versus Du Bois, which I know he's a fan of. At the end of the day, Du Bois was a Zionist. He had to get that off my chest. I really didn't like his response. He got into under my skin. I'm gonna have to do my research about Booker T. I'm sorry, about Du Bois. in regards to that. But I think that there should be, I think there should be a balance. People should be able to pursue others. And the thing is, like with a tuition-free education, let's say you want to get into welding, right? If you want to get into welding, cool. But let's say outside of doing welding, you want to be educated in computer technology, right? Or you want to pursue, Eastern philosophy or something like that. You want to go to school for that. I think you should be able to do both without actually having to. I think you should do that without having to pay a tuition. If you want to go to school for something like psychology while being an auto mechanic, fine. See, here's the thing about us humans. We are all multifaceted. So why shouldn't we be able to pursue education just for the sake of knowing things? We're human beings. My God, like we should be able to. And so I think that, or let's say you started off with college, but now you want to, let's say you went to school to be a doctor and now you're a doctor, but you also want to know how to do culinary arts. And you want to go to culinary school just for the hell of it on your free time. Okay. People should be able to do that. But we shouldn't be paywalled for it. We could pool our resources together and everybody get an education for free. When you know better, you do better. And I think it should be open for everybody to be able to know better as much as they can. Anyway. I'm gonna head out, and thank you so very much. Love you all, and thank you so very much for that, Zoya. I'm about to head out because I think we got a meeting. Anyways, so look, see you guys on Tuesday, of course, at 3 p.m. on my channel. Of course, I'm gonna be having Vay on from the Revolutionary Education Action League. He's going to be talking. We're going to be covering news stories, and I'm going to talk to him about the work he's doing on the ground here in Orlando. So we're going to be talking about that. This could be a good time. And yeah, wait, 4th of July is this weekend. A lot of people will be celebrating 4th of July. Hang on, when is 4th of July? Is this Saturday or Sunday? Oh, it's Friday. Okay. So, yeah. So, I'll probably do a stream that evening. Well, no, I'm not going to do a stream that evening because it's going to be loud as hell. I'll probably end up doing a stream like that early afternoon on Friday. I'll probably end up doing a reading because it's going to be loud by the time the sun sets. So, and I'm not going to be trying to do a show with all them fireworks going off. No, sir, Bob. But anyways, thank you so very much to everybody for joining. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. If you guys would like to, hell, might as well do it. Let me see. If anybody's feeling generous, either become a patron on Patreon, or if you guys want to, there's my PayPal. There you go. Boom. Venmo is Jaybe font. So if you guys want to look for me there, I'm done there. And Cash App, well, there's my name. Boom. But you have to make sure you put the full name. But yeah, Cash App. Anyways, thank you very much to everybody for all the well wishes. And we're going to close out with the same video that we started off with because I thought it was just that good because it is beautiful, to be able to share, love and care to people who are doing the best that they can for their fellow people. And I think that It's videos like this. Actually, you know what? Change of plans. We are going to end with, because I started off with that one, we're going to end with my birthday twin. That's what we're going to do. My birthday twin is also his birthday. We're going to end with him. So, like I always say, water your plants, water yourselves, leave the world better than you found it. Smoke up if you got them, drink them if you got them. If you ain't got them, then watch something funny because joy is revolutionary. Or read because reading is fundamental. I love you guys for watching. Thank you so very much. You guys have yourself a wonderful day. Forehead kisses. I'll see you guys on Tuesday on my channel. Have yourself a good one. Bye-bye.
One more question.
I'd just like to state an opinion. You said that capitalism is backwards and it should be destroyed. Stupid,
reactionary,
repulsive.
barbaric. No, I didn't use the word repulsive. That's too mild.
Well, I'd just like to state my opinion that I think violence is barbaric and stupid and repulsive, and that's my opinion.
But please, may I ask you a question, please? Just for clarification. All right, now, I'm not sure, are you agreeing that capitalism is bad or you don't think it's bad?
I didn't say.
Huh?
I didn't say anything about it.
But what do you think about it?
Capitalism?
Yes.
Well,
well, let me ask you this question.
I live in a capitalist society.
Okay, let me make it easier.
Okay, yeah, please.
If you were a slave and I were your master, and the only way for you to be free was to strike your blow to kill me, what would you do? You didn't answer? Oh, I didn't hear him answer.